Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. I'm doing a canning video today. I'm doing tomato ketchup and spaghetti sauce, or like a pasta sauce, as well as barbecue sauce. I was going to do the entire process and show y'all how to do it, but the tomatoes take a long time to, they have to boil down to thicken to make the ketchup with. So I actually put the tomatoes in it's like a big, almost, I guess, roaster oven, like that. So I put it in there and I've let it cook all night, so it's cooked down a good bit. So today I'm going to add the ingredients to it. I have my jars boiling now so that I can get the hot liquid in those. I'm going to try my best to do I think I have 4 pints, or I might have 2 pints, and I'm not sure. I just put them in there. I don't remember what I had. But anyway, so I think I have 2 quarts and 2 pints is what I put in there. But I'm going to do that in the ketchup, and then I'm going to do smaller ones for like the barbecue sauce and stuff. So I haven't done anything except for I chopped the onions to put the onions in there so that they would cook down with the tomatoes when they were cooking down. And like I said, it takes forever. So I've actually ended up having to put tomato paste in it to thicken it up because it's not thickening as fast as I wanted it to. There are 24 pounds of tomatoes in there. So that takes a good while to cook that down to get all that juice out. I ran it through a food mill and got all the skins and got all of the seeds and things out. I didn't want to show the food mill because it's a whole process to get it put together and to run it, and it's really loud. But I can show you kind of what the mill looks like. And I did that with the tomatoes so that I wouldn't have to take the peelings and everything off after it was done. So I have that started. As soon as my jars get done boiling, I have them in my pressure canner over there, but it has a water bath can mode, so I just put it on water bath can to do those with. But I'm going to show y'all how to get started on the barbecue sauce and the ketchup. I'm going to let the ketchup run a little bit longer, but I can go ahead and do the barbecue sauce part because I have to add things to the tomatoes. So I'm going to dip some of the tomatoes out, put it in a bowl, and I'm going to make the barbecue sauce with that and get it ready to get canned as well. So y'all just stick around and watch, and I will try to link the recipe in the description box. It's really easy. It just is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time. If you've never canned tomatoes before, you have to get your acidity right in it, meaning your vinegar and everything has to be right so that it is shelf stable. So I'm using a ball canning book. The only thing is I'm changing up the spices in mine in comparison to the spices that are in the ball canning book, because I've done this before and I know what I can and can't do. As long as you keep your ratio of your salt, your sugar, and your vinegar the same, then you're going to have a completely fine recipe. You can put whatever spices, as long as you use the same amount of spices, it can be different. So just, if you've never done it before, stick to the recipe to start with. Do it a couple of times. If you don't like the flavor of it, then you can tweak it a little bit and kind of figure out what does and doesn't work for you. So I'm going to bring y'all over a little bit closer, and I'm going to show y'all how the ketchup is coming along, and then we'll do the barbecue sauce. Okay y'all, so I went ahead and I pulled a jar out. It's already hot. I'm going to use this jar so that I can make the barbecue sauce, and I'll know how much I put in there. I just got a bowl that is a 6-quart bowl, and I'm just going to put some of the ketchup in here because you have to have the ketchup to make the barbecue sauce. So I'm just going to dip. I'm only going to do, I think, probably 2 jars of barbecue sauce because I actually still have one from last year. So I'm just going to do 2 jars, I believe, and put those up. But I've got to make sure that I get enough to fill 2 jars. So I'm just going to use this one and dump it in the bowl. That way I know I'll have just the right amount. I have my honey and my brown sugar sitting here as well. And then I'm just going to use a funnel, and I'm going to dip it out and put it into the bowl, and that's where I'm going to put in my honey and my brown sugar and some of the spices that goes in the barbecue sauce. And then we'll taste it before we put it in there, make sure it's the way that we want it. I'm almost out of honey. I have very, very little left, so we may have to put a little bit of molasses in there, which is okay because it's going to be the same either way. We're just using it to kind of make it tangy. I have heard that you can put Worcestershire sauce in it, but I've never done that, so I don't know about that. And I really don't want to deviate too far from the barbecue sauce that I've been making that we like. So my jar is still hot. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to dip some out. I cannot find my Canon dipper, so I'm just going to use a ladle. I don't know where I put it. I put Canon stuff everywhere, so there's actually no telling where it's at. But like I said, I'm okay with the consistency of this for the barbecue. I just don't want a really thin spaghetti sauce, or I'm sorry, a thin ketchup. And then I'll wash my jar really well again, because you don't want the jars to be sticky when you go to use them. So I'll wash them and I'll put them back in the pressure canner over there so that it can heat back up and it'll be temperature. I don't want to blow my jars up because I have busted jars before. So I'm just going to dump that in there. Let me grab an apron because I'm going to get this all over me. Making ketchup is really easy. Making barbecue sauce is really easy. And if you get started making it, you'll really enjoy it because you can put in flavors that you like that maybe you can't get exactly the way you want it in the grocery store. So mine, I try to do the almost like the sticky sweet stubs. That's like our favorite barbecue sauce. So we try to get it like that consistency and that flavor. So you kind of have to work with it a little bit and just tweak your flavors. And I already put my vinegar in here. So I cooked my vinegar in it last night to get the ketchup flavor right. So I don't have to worry about adding any more vinegar. Okay, that's my jars, saying that they're heated. And even though this has been cooking all night, I did have to add a little bit of tomato paste to thicken it just a little bit because it wasn't thickening the way that I wanted it to. So I did have to do that. But that's okay. You can do that if you need to. Ooh, that's hot. The flavor is really, really good right now on the ketchup. So what I'm going to do, if I can get my honey open. Hang on one second. Let me run some hot water over it. Okay, so I got my honey open. I'm putting it into a 2-cup measure just because the jar will fit down in it. And I'm just going to put whatever honey's left, and then I'll taste it to see how it tastes. And then I'll add in my brown sugar because I don't have a lot of honey left. And I may have just a little bit over here. Yeah, I have a little bit in my squeeze bottle. I always try to keep some in a little squeeze bottle in case I need it for something. So I'm just going to run out what I have. I need to get some more. I haven't been to get any. So I'm going to try to get about a cup to start with. Because with the amount of tomato that I have, I want a good amount of the honey, but I don't want it to be overly sweet. So we're going to start, it's right there, so it's 1 cup. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to pour that in there. And get that stirred up really good. Grab a spoon so we can taste it. You always want to taste it and make sure that it's sweet enough or spicy enough before you, if you like it spicy. Some people like it spicy, some don't. So I'm just going to dip it in there. Oh yeah, that's really good. And once I get the brown sugar in there, it's going to be really, really good. So I'm going to add, let me grab that. I'm going to add a cup of brown sugar to it. This is that brown sugar that we made together the other day. So we're going to add a cup of brown sugar to it, packed pretty well in there. We're going to stir that up. I've also read that you can add like liquid smoke to it to give it the smoky flavor. I've never done that either. I just make a honey barbecue, so that's up to you. I'm going to take my spoon again. That's really, really good. So when you put the sugar in there, the honey really comes forward in it. So it's a very, very sweet type of barbecue. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my salt and my pepper. And I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of pepper to it. Now I ground my own pepper, so it's a little bit spicier because it was peppercorns. And when you ground fresh peppercorns, to me they're just a little bit, they're a little bit spicier than like normal. Oh, I about made a mistake. Hold on, that's iodized salt. I don't want that. You want to put pickling salt in there. I wasn't even thinking. So I'm going to put my pickling salt in there. So I'm just going to put that in. I'm going to stir it up. And give it another taste test. Oh, that is so good, y'all. That is probably the best barbecue sauce I've ever made. That is really good right there. So now, I'm going to get my jars out. I'm going to jar this up, and I'll throw a label on it so I know that it's the barbecue and not the ketchup, because it's going to pretty much look the same. And then we'll get started on the pasta sauce. So the pasta sauce has a lot more spices in it, so let's get started on that in just a second. Okay, so I have my 2 jars out. They're still really, really hot. I just got them out of the pressure canner. So I'm gonna dip it in there. I don't want to use that ladle because I don't want the ketchup to be sweet like the barbecue sauce. So I'm just gonna get another ladle and I'm gonna dip it in there. Just make sure your jars are good and hot, because this is really hot and you really don't want to blow your jars up. And always use a fresh lid. Don't ever reuse a lid if you're going to do something like this. I like to use the brand 4 jars. To me, they're a better jar lid. And I haven't had, so far, I've not had any breakages with it or anything. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but so far so good. It could happen today, you never know. And you want about a ½ inch headspace. So I'll leave it, zoom you in a little bit here and see if y'all can see. About, well, I don't think you can see it. About that much is what I leave. And then I have my new lid and ring. I'm just going to stick that on. Well, first I have to clean the top off. Let me get that cleaned off. I'm going to wipe it with a little bit of this distilled vinegar. Make sure that we have a good seal on it. And you can check and make sure there's no cracks in your jar. I did have one last year that I was doing, and there was a little nick in the top of the jar, and I didn't know it, and it didn't do too well. So, alright, and I'm going to go stick this in the pressure canner and let it set and stay hot while I do the other one. Now, after adding in the honey and the brown sugar, I may have a little bit left over, even though I measured it out exactly. I'm just going to add a little bit of the amount to it, so I may have to get another small jar. But I have plenty of jars. So. And once we get this done, then we will do the pasta sauce. Yeah, there's very, very little left in there, but there is a little bit left. We'll do the pasta sauce. I'll just wash this bowl out, and we'll do the same kind of thing and dip it and put it in there that way. Alright, so this jar is going in. I'm going to grab a tiny little jar to put that other in. Well, I said I was going to. I'm not seeing a ring for it. I'll just use a plain mason jar with one of these press-on lids because there's not enough to can. I'm just going to throw it in the refrigerator and we'll use it. So it'll be fine. There's barely any left in there. So just do it that way. And it's pretty much cooled off enough now. It's not going to make my jar explode. I'm just going to stick that in the refrigerator. And then we'll wash all this up right here, and then we'll do the same thing again after I get this in the refrigerator. We'll be right back. Okay, so I got all that cleaned up. Now I've got my bowl ready for my pasta sauce. I have all of my seasonings sitting out here. Let me slide you back this way, see if maybe you can see a little better. So my bowl's clean again. I want at least, if I can get it, I would like to have at least 4 quarts of the pasta sauce, and then maybe 2 or 4 of the ketchup. I'm saving the ketchup for last, so it'll just sit there and thicken. And I found my ladle. So I'm just going to dip some out this time. We use a lot of pasta sauce. Let's see where we get with 5 of those. and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is garlic. If you have fresh garlic, you can throw fresh garlic in there. And like I said, when I cooked it, I diced up onions. You'll see it probably in the beginning of the video. I diced up onions, so there's onions already in there. But if you wanted to put extra onion powder, you can. It's whatever you like. But I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons. This is that fresh garlic that I made. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of fresh garlic in there. And then each time I put something in there, I'm gonna stir it up and make sure that the flavor is good with that, because it's hard to tell before you put everything in there if your flavor is good or not, because you can't tell what you need more of. So I like to taste it pretty much after every flavor that I add to it. Normally with this garlic you need very little. It's a very strong garlic. I'm going to do the same thing again. I have a dipping spoon. I'm just going to drip a little bit on it. Yeah, that's very garlicky. So that's plenty of garlic in there. I'm going to add a handful of parsley. And this is that parsley that we grew last year. I'm just going to keep stirring that up. I'm going to add basil. I'm not going to put a whole lot of basil. Just sprinkle it in there. Just like I said, to whatever you feel like you like the flavor of. I didn't taste it after the parsley because it doesn't really, it's just more for the color, I guess, than anything. I mean, it has flavor to it, but it's not going to shine through like some of the other seasonings will. Okay, that's good. That's really good, actually. And then, of course, oregano. I'm going to put a tablespoon of oregano in there. Just a whole tablespoon. Because I'm making like a rosemary, oregano, garlic pasta sauce. So I want those flavors to come through more than anything. Or, I'm sorry, basil, oregano, garlic, not rosemary. That is so good. That is so, so good. And I'm only going to put a little bit of rosemary in there, because rosemary is one of those herbs you either like or you don't. And I mean, I like it, but it's not something that I want like big, huge chunks of. So I try to break it up the best I can. If you get rosemary powder, or if you grind up, this is that we grew last year too. You can see I just dehydrated it, or I'm sorry, freeze dried it. And so it's still pretty green. Sorry for the pause, my battery died. I thought I had a good enough battery and I didn't. Yeah, we're good, so. Okay, let me grab my funnel. Oh, I didn't add the pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper to it. And stir it up. And then we'll grab our funnel and we'll start dipping it out. I don't want to pull all the jars out at one time because I want them to stay hot, because this is still pretty warm. But this is our pasta sauce. It smells so good. So, so good. We're going to fill these up. And like I said, I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to get. if this is something you want to do, and you do have a roaster pan, and you don't want to have to constantly babysit it and watch it and make sure that it comes down and, you know, thickens and all that, put it in the roaster pan, cut it on. I had it on 200 all night, and it came down probably a good 5 inches. So if you want to do that, you go ahead and add all of your stuff to it, like your vinegar and your onions. Let your onions cook along with it, and then it will do really good that way. I gotta grab a little bit more vinegar to wipe my rim with. And then I'm gonna throw a new lid and ring on it, and I'll tighten it down, and I'm gonna go stick it in there. Look how pretty that looks. You can see all of our spices in there. So I'm gonna stick that in there, and I'm gonna grab another jar. This one is just a pint jar. Grab that. I think I might can get 2 pints in a quart, and that should be plenty for now. I can always do more later. Ooh. So again, I'm wiping it off. I have a new ring and lid. Oh man, that is hot. Okay, hold on, something's going on with my ring here. Let me grab another ring. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get a bad ring in a bunch. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to stick it in the pressure canner as well. And then I'm going to grab another one. And then we'll start pressure canning. I can put like, I think 8 or maybe 10 in there. But I'm not going to put that many right now because I still want to do the ketchup in a batch of its own, so that I don't get all this mixed up before I can label it. It's kind of hard to label it and then can it, because your labels come off and you're still in the same boat that you were before. So that was almost perfect. I think I might have to add just a scoop of the tomato in there. Be enough, be enough. Grab this spoon from earlier. I think I'll be okay. That's a little more than an inch, but it'll be okay. I gotta grab another ring. And I got my lid right here. And then I'm going to go stick these in there, and then we're going to start pressure canning these. They should have to pressure can for about, I think it said, I'll have to look, but I think it said 35 or 40 minutes. I'll check before I start it. I can't remember exactly, but it depends on your altitude. So I have 2 barbecue sauces and 3 pasta sauces in there. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on there, and then I'll go over and I'll set my I will set my timer on this, so I know how long to do it for. And I just have the Presto pressure canner. It's the electric one that I'm using. I'll show y'all what it looks like, and I'll come back. I'm going to clean all this up, and then I'll come back and show you my pressure canner, and I'll let you know exactly what time I have to set it for. I have to look back in the book because I don't remember exactly. So, but with it being a tomato product, they'll still pressure can at the same time for the same amount of time and the temperature. So I'll go check that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went back and checked in the book. It says you only have to can it for 15 minutes. So I'm going to can it a little bit longer because I have, normally you would only put in pint jars or quart jars. But what I did was I had 2 of each, or 3, whatever it was. So instead, I'm going to go in between the time for the pint jars and the time for the quart jars. That way I know that they're canned correctly, because I did put them in there separate, together instead of separately. But this is the book that I used. It's the Ball Complete Cook of Home Preservation. And I used the tomato ketchup recipe in there. I deviated a little bit from it. I did keep the vinegar, the tomatoes, the onions, the salt, and the sugar the same. But I changed up my flavoring because we didn't like the flavors that are in here. But if you have this book, it's on page 252. You can go by that, or I'll link the recipe. I'll just maybe screenshot it at the end or something and let y'all see it, and you can pause it and write it down, and then I'll link the book. I think I got this one from Amazon, so I'll link the book below. Yeah, it was $24.95, and it's got everything in there. I use this one a lot for a lot of different things. But I'm going to keep letting my ketchup cook, and I'll come back later today, and once it's boiled down a little bit and that is done, then I will start the ketchup. So I'll bring y'all back for that in just probably a couple hours. Okay, so the pasta sauce and the barbecue sauce are over there. They're depressurizing. So now the ketchup is done. So I've got some jars right here and some really hot water. I'm just going to let them sit in there because while that's still doing the pressure release, I can't put these in here. So this is hot boiling water. I'm just going to leave them in there, and I'll take them out and I'll fill them, and then that is almost done. So we'll get that canned up and put in there. I'm going to put a picture in here of my pressure canner. Like I said, it's a Presto. I can't remember the size of it. It's the Presto. So there's a little bit left in here for the ketchup. I've already got it cut off. So we're going to start jarring it up. I'm not sure how much I'm going to end up with. I'll pull y'all a little closer here. So like I said, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to end up with, but we'll see. I've put out 5 pints and a quart. 5 quarts and a pint. I'll get it right in a minute. So these are really hot jars. So I'm going to start ladling my ketchup. It's nice and thick now. It's so, so pretty. It's a beautiful red. Very thick. And it smells really, really good. Okay. Get another. I keep forgetting to keep out my vinegar to wipe my rims with. Let me grab that. So this is almost completely depressurized over here now. So as soon as this is done, then I should be able to put it in right away. That was the pressure valve that just released, so. Get a lid on that. And again, I got new lids, new rings, everything. So there's what she looks like. So pretty. We'll just keep ladling this out till we get it all in our jars. Hope that jar is still hot enough. You can even, if you want it even thicker, I mean, you can keep cooking it down. I don't want it like super thick. I want it where we can spread it if we wanted to, but also I still want it to be where we can like dip fries in it. So it's totally up to you on that. I don't know why I keep forgetting to wipe my rims today. So there's 2. I have no idea how much we're going to end up with. I may end up having to get more jars than I originally thought. Or we could always make more barbecue sauce or whatever that we wanted to make with it. Let me get that one in here real quick. I'm very proud of how these turned out this time. They're so good. I do hope that y'all try them. Sorry, Bella's barking. I think if you try it, you'll really like it. Okay, there's that one. Bella. She likes to bark when the mail lady comes. I do think I'm actually going to have to get more jars. I think I might be able to get another couple of quarts out of it. I didn't realize when I added the tomato paste that it would actually add that much to it. I should have known that, but I guess I wasn't thinking. Let me lift this out and I'll be right back. This is really heavy and hot, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the roaster out now, so I can put the last of it in here. I think I can get another one. I'm not sure. We'll just have to see. There's still a good bit in here, so I'm not sure. My jars are finished over there. I'm about to take them out. And then I'm going to get these put in there. And I do hope that y'all make this if you like to can. It's a really good recipe. So let me get that on there. And I'm going to grab another jar and see what I can get out of it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got another pint jar here. And I don't know that I'm going to get that much out of it. If not, I'll stick it in the refrigerator. But hopefully I can get it. I just pulled out the others out of the pressure canner. And I'm going to show y'all what that looks like in just a second. And then we'll see how many we got of everything all together. And this is a project that you will really enjoy. If you've never made it before, it's something I think you'll really like to try. The flavor is completely different than, you know, anything you get in the store is going to have all these preservatives in it. And to me, when you can something, it's just so much better than if you get it in the store. That's just me. So let's get all of these in there, and then I'll show you what we have over here that I've already taken out. Okay, so this is my Presto digital canner. I'm just gonna stick them in there. The water is still hot from the others. I'm gonna see, I don't know how many exactly of these quarts that I can get in there. I've always mixed and matched. I'm gonna say I can get 6 of those, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Actually, I can get 5, and then I'm gonna try to stack the pints side by side. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna attempt that because it's not gonna work. So we'll just separate them out like that and give them enough room. These I'm gonna pressure can for 15 minutes. That's all that this has to can for. This is also a safe water bath canning recipe. If that's something that you want to do, if you want to try to water bath can it, you can. But all I do, let me see how I can. I don't really know how to zoom y'all in for this. Let me see here. I'll show y'all the buttons and whatnot here. Let's see. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And right here, this says pressure can, this says water bath can, and then I already have everything closed off. So what I'm gonna do is where it says pressure can, I'm gonna hit the start button right there, and I'm gonna put it on for 15 minutes. And I'm gonna hit start. It already says insert jars, they're already in there. It's warming it up. And then when it gets done warming, it won't take it very long because it's already warm. But then once it warms up, I'll come and hit start again, and then it'll start the pressure canning process. Or if you want to water bath can it, you can do it. You can turn the knob and it'll go to water bath. You can do it that way as well. So it just depends on if you have a pressure canner or a water bath canner, or what you kind of want to do. It's totally up to you. Either way will work. So that's just, I like to pressure can, that way I can be sure that it seals really well. But again, some things are fine water bath canned, and then some I would rather pressure can, and some cannot be water bath canned. So this is what I got. I got the 2 barbecue, and then I got 1 quart and 2 pints of pasta sauce. So that's what we did today. Pretty productive. I was going to show y'all the food meal. It's dirty, so y'all just ignore it. I haven't cleaned it yet. But this is the food meal right here. You put the stuff in here, and you cut it on, and then you push it down in there, and then it comes out on this end. Don't do that. It comes out on this end, all of the water and the juice, and then out this end is where your pieces like this come out. That's the pulp. I gotta clean it. It's nasty right now where I used it yesterday. But anyway, so I gotta get everything cleaned up so that I can go pick the kids up from school. It's almost time for me to leave to go get them. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I can teach you something. If you have any questions, I can do my very, very best to answer them. I don't can a lot of stuff. I do jellies and jams and ketchup and that sort of thing, and I do the relish. I can do soup. I've never canned meats. I know a lot of people can meats. I have never attempted that. But I guess we could probably try it if that's something that y'all would be interested in. The book that came with my pressure canner has several things in it that teaches you different things that you can do. So we may look into some other fun things to do, but I think that's it for the day. I hope that y'all enjoyed the video, and like I said, if you do this, it is a labor of love. It takes a long time to get it all done, but it's worth it in the end, and you're going to end up with a beautiful, shelf-stable product that the whole family is going to love it. And one day we will make homemade mayonnaise. I'll show you how to do that. That's really easy too, and it's actually pretty good. The first time I made it, I used just the egg whites and it wasn't great. But now that I know how to use the entire egg, it's really good. It lasts for, I think, a week is what it said. I'll have to check again in the refrigerator. So I just make them in the little jars because we don't eat a lot of it. But that may be something else. So if y'all have any ideas of things that y'all want to try to do and that I know how to do, then I will show y'all if I can do it. And if I can't, I'll figure it out or we'll learn together. But I hope y'all enjoy this. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That would mean so much to us, and we hope that you have a blessed day. Thanks for watching. Bye.